and welcome back to Extra Stress. Today we are speaking to somebody who's been incredibly instrumental in my own fitness and health journey, my biokineticist, Anine van Westhuizen, who I know I'm biased, but I think she's a fantastic human being and a fantastic biokineticist. So Anine, thank you so much for all that you've done for my journey, and thank you so much for speaking to us today about the journey, everybody's journey, because for the past 2 months or so we've been speaking on Extra Stress about the benefits of exercise and physical activity, not only physically, because I think most people know about those benefits, but the benefits from a mental health point of view. And hopefully there's some people out there that are inspired to start moving and just need some sort of advice on how to get going. So I was wondering if you, as a professional, could give us some pointers on how to start exercising.
Okay, I think in the first place it's quite important to understand that any movement counts. So you don't have to be a crazy person like you running in a desert. You can also just be a normal person moving. So a movement entails cardiovascular wise, you can go for a walk, cycle, swim, even walk next to the beach or dancing, anything, any movement counts. And also that it adds up. So if you do something in the morning, for example, park just a little bit further away from the school and take your kid to school, or during lunchtime to take your snacks or your lunch and go and eat it in a park or somewhere safe, but somewhere where you can move and just move somewhere and eat it. But to add little things during the day, stretching during the day, doing a few movements during the day, all of that adds up. So by starting, if you are a social person, and this is also part of mental health, if you know you need to meet somebody and you need to be held accountable, it helps to have a friend, meet somebody, go for walks every morning, join a class at your local gym or at practice. Even my mom started doing Tai Chi on a video, so you can do it online, doing Pilates, anything that you enjoy, and I think that's the important part. You should enjoy it as well. And while I'm on that, I read the other day, it was quite a well-written piece by a psychologist, and she said that they have found, and I always thought it is the other way around, that by being motivated, you go and do certain tasks. But she said you should actually just start, and then your body and your brain sees the advantages of that, and then the motivation actually comes. So you don't have to wait for Monday. You can actually just start, and then the motivation will come by itself.
And maybe it's about letting it grow organically, because people start exercise regimes that say that they need to go and exercise for half an hour, 3 times a week, which is wonderful. But if that's a bridge too far, then, as you say, just walking to a park to eat your lunch instead of sitting at your desk and eating it, even that's doable. And
we call it movement snacks. So if you can just start small, especially if you come from a place where mentally you were not in a good place, you can't suddenly put on yourself a lot of big goals and things, and according to this personal trainer you have to do this, and it will just be too much. And I find that especially with my patients, when they join a gym, they initially think that they're going to go 5 times a week. And they go maybe 5 times a week the first week, but never again, because it needs to fit into your life. It needs to be part of a lifestyle change. And also important for us as parents to let our kids see that we're moving, that we're doing things, to start a new generation of movers and healthier.
I think that's a fascinating point, because as a parent, I often am racked with guilt that I'm going for a run and taking time away from my family. So that's why I end up running at sometimes 3 or 4 in the morning to get my run in, so that I'm back home by the time the kids wake up. But I think you're right. I think there is benefit in allowing the kids to see that we are going out and intentionally moving and exercising.
Yeah, especially when the boys were smaller, I would let them cycle with me while I jog. Currently, they're becoming a bit faster than I am. So now they're running with me, but yeah, I can go further. But we cycle. We make a point on weekends especially to do long rides and runs with the boys and go into the mountain and go down to the beach. But try and make it part of your lifestyle, like you just now said. Yeah, but please don't take your kids on 42-kilometer runs in the mountains. No, okay.
Not yet.
A shame.
And I also like what you said about the exercise snacks, because I mean, there are a lot of very busy professionals out there that just simply battle to roster in exercise into their busy schedules. So if they can do maybe 3 10-minute slots in the day instead of trying to find a half an hour, then maybe that will be more achievable.
Yeah, I also find that some of these really high A-type professionals, medical and all the other high professional corporate people, tend to now think, okay, they've got so little time, so now in a half an hour they just want to crash and burn it. While they're already almost at a place where they're almost on the edge of burnout, and then they want to go as fast and as high as they can out. And I think it's actually making it worse, and it's adding to their stress. We should listen to our bodies, and you and I know that very well. We've learned. But then rather to go for a walk through the, in the woods or the forest or by the dam or by next to the beach if you're fortunate enough to live close to that. Rather that than crunching it out hectically and coming back and being actually more exhausted than being rejuvenated.
We don't have to live our entire life at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yes, although we want to.
There's pressure.
But we don't have to. And I think if we can see the bigger picture of keeping our nervous systems regulated and using exercise as a calming, joyful place and not as a I must, so that it won't become another sympathetic high thing that you have to do. Yeah, that's the whole. Sometimes stretching is just as good. I struggle with that, to go and lie down, but I do have to do it to keep mobile.
I like what you said about calming the sympathetic nervous system down, because I think, that then, even in the context of the busy professional who's career-orientated, goal-driven, if we can just get ourselves to that happy medium state of not being sympathetically overstimulated, that's actually where we're the most productive, aren't we?
Correct. That's where your brain can focus. Caroline Leaf calls it, when we're trying to multitask, we're actually making our brains like a milkshake. We're actually shaking it up too much. It cannot focus on everything. So we're making our brains extremely exhausted and not being effective. You're quite right. I also think it is actually a good idea. We try and do that at home sometimes, but when I get home, to put on some music, but lovely, good, happy tunes and everything. And while making food, you can dance, and the kids are in a happier place than you coming home and the shouting starts or the fighting about homework and everything. Just that half an hour of calming down when you get back home actually sets the mood for the rest of the evening for everybody, and it keeps the kids calm, because you remember, you come home with all the stress. It helps a lot just to dance. There's also movement.
Dancing's good. And of course, we know that music itself has enormous benefits for mental health.
Yeah.
So then you get the best of two.
Yeah, definitely. And I see with my 2 boys as well, when they've had a stressful day and we get into the car after school, they would actually ask for meditation or calming music. They can start asking us, then I know that they understand their nervous systems. And then I would put up some relaxing music, nobody says a word, we get home and everybody is a bit calmer.
It's amazing. And maybe then there's a role, for school kids, for calming their nervous systems, for professionals. Maybe then there's a role for this to be examined in the corporate context. I mean, surely in the office space, we're trying to get people to be as productive as possible.
Yeah.
So is there, and I think with modern corporate employee health interventions, there's a growing understanding of the fact that if we want our workforce to be productive, they must be healthy and they must be mentally healthy.
Yes, there's definitely some of the bigger corporate groups definitely start to incorporate. I tend to do beautiful health checks like cholesterol, blood pressure, and have talks, and we have biokineticists that going out into the sectors and speak to them regarding stress management and all of that, and how important exercise is. But one of my patients actually told me, and I think this is a lovely intervention that he did. He came from overseas, from Europe, came to South Africa and realized a big part of South Africans are quite actually allergic to exercise, so they would park right next to the building. There's no walking like in Europe, little movement, and then they go and sit at their desk and they just sit and they work, and 5 o'clock they leave. So he started incorporating into his office that his office workers every day has to do, he's got 5 exercises, they all do it together, and they have a little challenge there in the corporate as well. You don't really have to have the challenge, because I don't know if you always have to add extra stress, but the whole fact that they're all just moving for a half an hour per day, and it's a must, and everybody does it, some better than others, but at least they're moving, and he has found that has already brought a more energetic and a better work space. So we also have it at the practice. Once a week we would all train together. But that's very stressful for me because they're all much younger than I am, so I have to keep up. But it brings something different to a team. I also have husband and wives that train together, and it's amazing to see how their relationship is different when they're here and they exercise, and it's just a different feeling for them as well. So I think it's good to try and do it together with people. Other people prefer to exercise alone, but depends on you as a person.
Well, that's brilliant. So starting doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be something that we keep until January the 1st, New Year's resolution.
No.
We can just find small ways to incorporate more movement and more exercise into our day.
Yeah.
And hopefully start spreading that by incorporating more people in to come and exercise with us.
Yes, I was also thinking, instead of maybe meeting your friend for coffee and cake, to rather go for a walk and talk. So meet each other and chat, and even meetings. It's actually quite a big thing in America now, is that you would rather meet each other in a park and walk. And they claim that it's a bit more of an authentic conversation that you have then. That when you sit around a table and in a restaurant or a place, you react different than when you're outside and you can breathe and you go for a walk.
That's amazing. So there really are many opportunities to be creative, yes, and include exercise in our daily activities.
Yeah, definitely. I would like to challenge everybody to try and get more active and just start spreading it, like you said now, and invite an extra friend, or just meet each other somewhere and enjoy outside and enjoy life a bit more.
Brilliant. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for your time. And this has been a really great conversation. And again, thank you so much for all the work that you're putting into getting this middle-aged body into shape.
Oh, this middle-aged body is doing great.
I hope so. We'll see you in April. Thank you so much for watching this interview. If you would like to see more like this, please do subscribe to the socials or have a look at our YouTube channel. Thanks so much. Have a good day. Bye.